sometimes this band was more like a social experiment than a band.
We were troublemakers, we were dreamers. It took off from that moment.
It was so interesting. There was a weird alchemy. I had the idea, and then I met with Robert, and Robert said, well, interestingly, I'm writing a biography that's going to come out in 2016. And it was just this weird sort of confluence. Again, it just felt like the right time. And, you know, it's almost 40 years since the band formed. And to me, it felt like, okay, I'm now in my 50s. If I'm ever going to make this film, this is the time.
Because it took a long time for the story that was under the main story to be uncovered. So the main story was the story of Robert and Grant, and then it became more interesting to talk about the story that lay underneath that as well. And it took a while for that to be discovered.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's an accurate description of the situation. You know, we were not a huge selling band. We didn't sell a lot of records. So there isn't really a reason, you know, a huge demand for a film about a band that didn't sell very many records. It's taken a while for that to build up and for enough people to believe that we were interesting enough to have a documentary.
Well, the Go-Betweens changed my life, literally. I was a 17-year-old Pimpley high school boy living in Toowong. I walked into a record shop called the Toowong Music Centre and met Damien Nelson, who was the guy who set up the Able label. And I met Grant McLennan, and they were making a film, and they said, "Do you want to help us with this film?" And literally that question changed my life, and so my destiny has been embedded and intertwined with the Go-Betweens from then on. Yeah, so I love the band, I love their music. I think they're one of the most remarkable bands that this country has produced, and to me their story, their saga is pure drama, and I've always wanted to make this film. To me this is the film I've always wanted to make.
No, there can never be one story. There's always multiple stories.
And I know from the hours of intensive, almost therapeutic interviews that we did, that 90% of that went on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, and it's still there. It can be brought back to life. So there's lots of stuff
resurrected. There's probably like 10 different films in there. There's a feminist film, there's a tragedy, there's a comedy, there's all kinds of things.
So we look forward to the biopic?
Or at least the director's cut.
Biopics, yeah. Bring